Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. Welcome to Shri Radha Govinda Temple. Today is a very, very auspicious day, and the Bindesh family, Ravi and Priyasakha Bindesh family, sponsoring in their memory of their mother, Parvati Krupa. So we will be reading from Bhagavad-Gita pertaining to the subjects that may help her in her next destination. Before that, we have prepared a wonderful feast for Shri Radha Govinda, and we are going to offer it to Shri Radha Govinda, and after that, in a few minutes only, we will be chanting Gaura Arti, where just keep an eye on Pujari. She is going to offer the incense, the ghee lamp, water, hanky, flowers, and chamar, etc. So if you have provision at home, try to follow. The deities are virtually in your home right now. They are your guests. And as soon as you see them on your laptop, on your TV, or even in your cell phone, by logging this particular line, then please try to respect them, try to have a nice hospitality for them, so they will keep coming to your home again and again. So without further delay, we'll be chanting Gaura Arti first, and then we'll be reading from Bhagavad-Gita as it is by Srila Prabhupada. Shri Radha Govinda Dev Ki Jai. So we are live streaming on Facebook as well as YouTube and Zoom. So you may have to stay away from camera. Such a beautiful darshan of Shri Radha Govinda, and they look just gorgeous. So let's offer him the incense first, then ghee lamp, water, hanky, flowers, chamar, etc. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashatya Deshitarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। की बजय जय गौराचंद आरती को शोभा। की बजय जय गौराचंद आरती को शोभा। झानवी तटवन जगमन लोभा। झानवी तटवन जगमन लोभा। दक्षिण निताई चांद वाम गदाधर। दक्षिण निताई चांद वाम गदाधर। निकट अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्र दारा। निकट अद्वैत श्रेणी वास छत्र दारा। बसी আছে गौराचंद रत्न सिंहासन। बसी আছে गौराचंद रत्न सिंहासन। आरती कोरेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गणे आरती कोरेन ब्रह्मा आदिदेव गणे नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर झुलाय नरहरि आदि कोरी चामर झुलाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय संजय मुकुंद बासु घोष आदि गाय शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे बाजे करताल मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला मधुर मृदंगा बाजे परम रसाला शंख बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे शंखा बाजे घंटा बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे मधुर 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 बाजे हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताई गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी बदन उज्ज्वला बहु कोटि चंद्र जीनी बदन उज्ज्वला गल देश वनमाला कर जलमाला गल देश वनमाला कर जलमाला शिवा शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदा शिवा शुक नारदा प्रेम गदागदा भक्ति विनोद दुख गुरार संपादा भक्ति विनोद देखे गुरार संपादा की बजा जय गौरा चंद्र आरती को शोभं की बजाया जय गौरा चंद्र आरती को शोभं जानवी तटवन जगमन लोभा जानवी तटवन जगमन लोभा गौरांग आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा गौरांग आरती शोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा जग जन मन लोभा Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Nitai Gaur Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha. Jaya Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha. Jai Radha Govinda Radha Govinda Radha. Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada. Gurudev, 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 Jai Jai Gurudev. शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, श्री राधा गोविंद देव की जय. So for everyone's protection, let us chant Narsimha prayer. Namaste Narsimhaya. Prahlad Radhain. Hiranyakashipu Rakshaham. Shilatankan Khalai. Ito nasiho parito nasiho. Yato yato mitato nasiho. Bahir nasiho hriday nasiho. Narsimham gadim sharanam prapadye. तव कर कमल वरे नखाम अद्भुत श्रृंगाम. दालिता हिरण्यकशिपु तानुभृंगा. केशवद्रुता नरहरि रूपा. जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे, जय जगदीश हरे. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Nrsimhadev, 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 Jaya Nrsimhadev. Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. नरसिंह भगवान की जय, भक्त प्रहलाद महाराज की जय, श्री राधा गोविंद देव की जय. नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सदा भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्री प्रभुपाद की जय. भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी महाराज की जय. अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय. नामाचार्य हरिदास ठाकुर की जय. प्रेम से कहो श्री चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधार श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। अंतर्विद मायापुर धाम की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, समावेश भक्त वृंद की जय। गौ प्रेमानंदे all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to Guru and Gauranga. Shri Shri Radha Govinda Dev ki jai. So, lot of people came today to attend Gaur Arti. It was a very wonderful experience. And we would like to begin with our main topic, which is sponsored by Bindesh family, Ravi and Priyasaka, in memory of their mother, whose name was Parvati Krupa. Blessings of Mother Parvati. When there is a blessings of Mother Parvati, there is always a blessing of Lord Shiva. Lord Krishna manifested in 3 different forms in order to take care of this material world. He had to create this material manifestation, he had to maintain it, and he had to annihilate when necessary. So Lord Brahma is in charge of creation, Lord Vishnu is in charge of maintenance of this material world, and Lord Shiva is in charge of annihilation. Since Krishna is eternal, he is known as Aja. Ja means to take a birth. So for these expansions, there is nothing like a birth. So we have to understand that today all over the world, people are actually celebrating Shivaratri. And what it means, that Lord Shiva, Shiva itself, the name itself is very auspicious. So he is bringing us or giving us a lot of blessings tonight. Ratri means night. Usually for the puja and all the ceremonies, the daytime is the best time. The night time are not a very good auspicious time frames. But today, when it comes to Shivaratri, if you go to certain temples, the temples are open whole night, because it is considered in all 365 days most auspicious night. And that's why temples are open. They do the Abhishek and they do like Sasranam Puja, and a lot of things are going on, bhajans, kirtan and all that. So here also, what we are going to read from Bhagavad-Gita, he says, he who knows me as unborn, as beginningless, as the Supreme Lord of all worlds, he only, undiluted among man, is free from all the sins. So it is made it very clear that ultimately these are Lord Krishna's expansions. When it comes to the prayers that I just mentioned, it says at the end, Sakta Janma Krutam Papam Smaranayana Vinashyati. What it means, that here we just talked about the sinful activities vanquished for one lifetime. But here this prayer is designed so that the 7 lifetime if you accumulate any kind of sinful activities, can be burned down to ashes by the blessing of the Lord. In this prayer, there are mention of places of pilgrimage, the temples, the deities, and especially their locations. For example, Himalaya to Kedaram, the Badri Kedar is located in Himalayas. So, Saurashtre Somanatham cha Shaile Mallikarjunam. So different locations, different temples, different deities. And when you chant, soul of Parvati Krupa, who just passed on February 11th, will be benefited by chanting this particular prayer. So without further delay, let us chant these prayers. Saurashtre Somanatham cha Srishaila Mallikarjunam Ujjaya Mahakalam Omkaram Mamaleshwaram Paralyam Vaidyanathan cha Dakinyam Bhimashankaram Setubandhe tu Ramesham Nagesham Darukavanim Varanasya tu Vishvesham Trambakam Gautami Tate Himalaya tu Kedaram Dushmesham tu Shivalayam Etani Jyotirlingam Sayam Prata Pathenaram Sapta Janma Krutam Papam Smarena Vinashyati Smarena Vinashyati. For some of the atheists, this may sound as some kind of fairy tale, some kind of mythology, some kind of fantasy. Because here it says, Sapta Janma Krutam Papam Smaranena Vinashyati. Simply by hearing these words, simply by attending this particular prayer, simply by thinking of this prayer, the sinful activities that we have accumulated for 7 lifetimes can be vanquished in a fraction of a second. So only devotee can understand this kind of prayers, which we read it in memory of Parvati Krupa. Now coming back to our main subject, Bhagavad-Gita. In Bhagavad-Gita also, Krishna mentions in this particular chapter, Rudranam Shankaraschasmi, Vitteshu Yaksharakshasamam, Vasunam Pavakaschami, Meru Shikarinayam. Rudranam Shankarosmi. Here they have mentioned Lord Shiva's name, that among the Rudras, I am Lord Shiva. So that particular verse, Here it says, of all the Rudras I am Lord Siva. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas I am the Lord of Wealth, Kubera, who is Kuber Bhandari. Of the Vasus I am fire, Agni. And of mountains I am mountain Meru. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, there are 11 Rudras of whom Shankara, Lord Shiva, is predominant. He is the incarnation Supreme Lord in the charge of mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of Yakshas and Rakshasas is Kubera, the master treasurer of demigods, and he is representation of Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. So this is the explanation that Lord Shiva is also an expansion of Lord Krishna. The chapter is wonderful. And it begins with the words Bhuya Eva. Bhuya Eva means once more. Because whatever is said in chapter 7, 8 and 9, the same subject we have to repeat here, but in a different way. So that's why Lord Krishna says that let's go over this once more. Bhuya Eva. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Bhuya Eva Mahabhavo Shunu Me Paramam Vacha Yatte Ham Priyamanaya Vakshami Hit Kamyaya Bhuya Eva Mahabhavo Shunu Me Paramam Vacha Yatte Ham Priyamanaya Vakshami Kamyaya. So, Lord Krishna Uvacha, Bhagavan Uvacha. So here, Krishna is proved as a Bhagavan. There are three kinds of realization. One is the Brahman realization, second is the Paramatma realization, and third is the Bhagavan realization. So Bhagavan himself is saying, the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, listen again, O mighty armed Arjuna, because you are my dear friend, for your benefit I shall speak to you further, giving knowledge that is better than what I have already explained. So he is continuing the same subject, but in different way. Then he says, Name vidu surganaha prabhavan namarshaya Ammadev devanam marshyam cha sarvashah. Lord says, neither the hosts of demigods nor the great sages know me or my origin or opulences. For in every respect I am the source of the demigods and the sages. Yumam jamanadim cha vetti lokameshwaram asamuracha marteshu sarvapape pramuchyate. So Srila Prabhupada explains that as stated in 7th chapter, Manushyanam sahasreshu Kaschiyati siddhe. Those who are trying to elevate themselves to the platform of spiritual realization are not ordinary men. They are superior to millions and millions of ordinary men who have no knowledge of spiritual realization. But out of those actually trying to understand their spiritual situation, one who can come to the understanding that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the proprietor of everything, the unborn, is the most successful spiritual realized person. In that stage only, when one has fully understood Krishna's supreme position, can one be freed completely from all sinful reactions. Here the Lord is described by one word, Aja. Aja means unborn. But he is distinct from the living entities who are described in the second chapter as Aja. The Lord is different from the living entities who are taking birth and dying due to the material attachment. The conditioned souls are changing their bodies, but his body is not changeable. Even when he comes to this material world, he comes as the same unborn. Therefore, in the fourth chapter, it is said that the Lord by his internal potency is not under the inferior material energy, but is always in the superior energy. In this verse, the word Vetti Loka Maheshwaram. Maheshwara, naturally we know him as a Lord Shiva. It indicates that one should know that Lord Krishna is the supreme proprietor of the planetary system of universe. He was existing before the creation, and he is different from his creation. All the demigods were created within this material world, but as far as Krishna is concerned, it is said that he is not created. Therefore, Krishna is different even from the great demigods like Brahma and Lord Shiva. And because he is the creator of Brahma, Shiva and all the other demigods, he is the supreme person of the planet. Shri Krishna is therefore different from everything that is created, and anyone who knows him as such immediately become liberated from all sinful reactions. One must be liberated from all sinful activities to be in the knowledge of the Supreme Lord. Only by devotional service can he be known, and not by any other means, as stated in Bhagavad-Gita. So this is a very, very important injection. Now we come to a very, very important point that we need discuss a little bit in details. What is that? Buddhi Gnana Sammoha Kshama Satyam Damah Shama Sukham Dukham Bhavo Bhavo Vayam cha bhavayam cha ahimsa samata tusti stapodhanam yasho vashayam bhavanti bhava bhutanam matteva prutagvitam. Srila Prabhupada is translating this wonderful verse, that intelligence, knowledge, freedom from doubt and delusion, forgiveness, truthfulness, control of senses, control of the mind, happiness and distress, birth, death, fear, fearlessness, non-violence, equanimity, satisfaction, austerity, charity, fame and infamy, all these various qualities of living beings are created by me alone. Srila Prabhupada explained the purport. The different qualities of living entities, be they good or bad, are all created by Krishna, and they are described here. Intelligence refers to the power to analyze things in their proper perspective. And a knowledge refers to understanding what is spirit and what is matter. Ordinary knowledge obtained by university education pertaining only to matter, and it is not accepted here as a knowledge. Knowledge means knowing the distinction between spirit and matter. In modern education, there is no knowledge about spirit. They are simply taking care of the material elements and bodily needs. Therefore, academic knowledge is not complete. Asammoha, freedom from doubt and delusion, can be achieved when one is not hesitant and when he understands the transcendental philosophy. Slowly but surely, he becomes free from bewilderment. Nothing should be accepted blindly. Everything should be accepted with care and with caution. Kshama, tolerance and forgiveness should be practiced. One should be tolerant and excuse the minor offenses of others. Satyam, truthfulness, means that the facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. Facts should not be misinterpreted. According to social conventions, it is said that one can speak the truth only when it is palatable to others. But that is not truthfulness. The truth should be spoken in a straightforward way so that others will understand actually what the facts are. If a man is a thief and if people are warned that he is a thief, that is truth. Although sometimes the truth is unpalatable, one should not refrain from speaking it. Truthfulness demands that the facts should be presented as they are for the benefit of others. That is the definition of truth. Control of senses means that the senses should not be used for unnecessary personal enjoyment. That is not prohibition against meeting the proper need of senses, but unnecessary sense enjoyment is detrimental for spiritual advancement. Therefore, the senses should be restrained from unnecessary use. Similarly, one should restrain the mind from unnecessary thoughts. That is called shama. One should not spend one's time pondering over earning money. There is a misuse of the thinking power. The mind should be used to understand the prime necessity of human beings, and that should be presented authoritatively. The power of thoughts should be developed in association with the persons who are authorities in the scriptures, saintly persons and spiritual masters. And those whose thinking is highly developed, sukham, pleasure or happiness, should always be in that which is favorable for the cultivation of the spiritual knowledge of Krishna consciousness. And similarly, that which is painful or which causes distress is that which is unfavorable for cultivation of Krishna consciousness. Anything favorable for the development of Krishna consciousness should be accepted, and anything unfavorable should be rejected. Bhava means birth, should be understood or referred to as body. As far as the soul is concerned, there is neither birth nor death. That we have discussed the beginning in Bhagavad-Gita. Birth and death apply to one's embodiment in the material world. Fear is due to worrying about future. A person is conscious, has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to Godhead, to spiritual sky. Therefore, his future is very bright. Others, however, do not know that their future holds. They have no knowledge of what the next life holds. So they are therefore in constant anxiety. If we want to get free from anxiety, then the best course is to understand Krishna and be situated always in Krishna consciousness. In that way, we will be free from all fear. As you know, Parvati Krupa Mataji, she used to make all these costumes that Lord is wearing. In his spare time, she always spent around Krishna. She didn't do anything nonsense without thinking about material things. And she was a pure devotee. That's why here it says that a person in Krishna consciousness has no fear because by his activities he is sure to go back to Godhead. Last time she was here, Priyasaka's little boy was with them. I hardly even noticed Parvati Krupa. It's so unfortunate. Never spoke to her, never even said Hare Krishna. Even she came with Priyasaka. I took out the garland from Prabhupada's neck and gave it to the family. They had picture taken. And that was her last night. That's it. The next morning she could not even rise from her bed and left the body. So this is the futility of the life. We came here thinking that we may have 100 years of life. Yes, it's possible. But even after 100 years, we will have to live. And we have to make sure that we go back to Godhead. So, the next is ahimsa, non-violence. Means that one should not do anything which will put others into misery or confusion. Material activities that are promised by so many politicians, sociologists, philanthropics, etc., do not produce very good results because the politicians and philanthropists have no transcendental vision. They do not know what is actually beneficial for human society. Ahimsa means that people should be trained in such a way that the full relation of the human body can be achieved. The human body is meant for spiritual relation. So any movement or any commission which do not further that aim commit violence on human body, that which is the further spiritual happiness of the people in general is called non-violence. Next is samata, equanimity. Refers to freedom from attachment and aversion. To be very much attached to or to be very much detached is not the best. This material world should be accepted without attachment or aversion. That which is favorable for prosecuting Krishna consciousness should be accepted. That which is unfavorable should be rejected. That is called samata, equanimity. A person is Krishna consciousness has nothing to reject and nothing to accept, save in itself of its usefulness in the prosecution of Krishna consciousness. And the last one is tushti, satisfaction. Means that one should not be eager to gather more and more material goods by unnecessary activities. One should be satisfied with whatever is obtainable by grace of Supreme Lord. That is called satisfaction. Tapas means austerity or penance. There are many rules and regulations in Vedas which apply here, like rising early in the morning and taking a bath. Sometimes it's very troublesome to rise early in the morning. But whatever voluntary trouble one may suffer in this way is called penance. Similarly, there are prescriptions for fasting for certain days of the month. And one may not be inclined to practice such fasting. But because of his determination to make advancement in the science of Krishna consciousness, he should accept such bodily troubles when they are recommended. However, one should not fast unnecessarily or against Vedic injunction. One should not fast for some political purpose, that is describing Bhagavad-Gita as fasting in ignorance. And anything done in the ignorance or passion does not lead to spiritual advancement. Everything done in the mode of goodness does advance one. However, the fasting done in terms of the Vedic injunction enriches one in spiritual knowledge. They also talk about the charity. As far as charity is concerned, one should give 50% of his earning to some good cause. And that is good cause. It is that which is conducted in terms of Krishna consciousness. That is not only a good cause, but the best cause. Because Krishna is good. His cause is also good. Thus, charity should be given to person who is engaged in Krishna consciousness. According to Vedic literature, it is enjoined that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. This practice is still followed, although not very nice in terms of the Vedic injunction, but still the injunction in that charity should be given to the Brahmanas. Why? Because they are engaged in higher cultivation of spiritual knowledge. A Brahmana is supposed to devote his whole life in understanding Brahman. Brahma janati iti Brahmana. One should know Brahman is called Brahmana. Thus charity is offered to Brahmana because they are always engaged in the higher spiritual service and have no time to earn their livelihood. In the Vedic literature, charity is also be awarded to one in the renounced order of sannyasi. The sannyasis beg from door to door, not for money, but for missionary purpose. The system is that they go from door to door to awaken the householder from the slumber of ignorance, because the householders are engaged in family affairs and have forgotten their actual purpose in life. Awakening their Krishna consciousness is the business of sannyasis to go as beggars to the householders and encourage them to be Krishna conscious. As it is said in Vedas, one should awake and achieve that is due him in the human form of life. This knowledge and matter is described by sannyasis. Hence charity is to be given to a renouncer of the life, to the Brahmanas, and similar good cause, not to any whimsical cause. Yasha means fame, should be according to Lord Chaitanya, who said that a man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and is known, then he is truly famous. One who does not have such fame is infamous. Talking about Mother Parvati Kripa, her spiritual master is Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. When I came to this country, in a building, we were 3 Indians living. One name was Narendra, other was Gopal, third was me. 50 years back, more than that even. And we were like pranam mitra, they call. Hello, how are you? Once in a while maybe we talk. And I introduce myself that, well, I'm an architect working with $2 an hour salary. And the other guy, Narendra, would say, no, I'm a Marwadi person. I cannot work for somebody and I cannot accept that kind of money either. I have to have my own business. The person had a dream. And the third person, who is now the topmost in our ISKCON body, is Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Who was the third person? He didn't think about his own dreams, but he says he met some devotees and he would like to become one of the Hare Krishnas. And we three laughed. Today, he is laughing at us and we are crying. Because he is the topmost person in Krishna consciousness. Here it says, Prabhupada, the fame should be according to the Lord Chaitanya, whose man is famous when he is known as a great devotee. That is real fame. If one has become a great man in Krishna consciousness and it is known, that is truly famous. So, out of the three, I am here. But I still have patience because I am reading Bhagavad-Gita as it is for the congregation benefit. And I am on the right path. And whatever I am trying to do is for my Guru, for Srila Prabhupada, and for International Society of Krishna Consciousness. So, this is the story. Her spiritual master was Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. He is a great devotee and he is making many devotees at this time. All these qualities are manifest throughout the universe in human society. In the society of the demigods, there are many forms of humanity on other planets. And these qualities are there. Now for one who wants to advance in Krishna consciousness, Krishna creates all these qualities, but the person develops them himself from within. One who engages in devotional service of the Supreme Lord develops all good qualities as arranged by the Supreme Lord. Of whatever we find good or bad, the origin is Krishna. Nothing can manifest itself in this material world which is not in Krishna. That is knowledge. Although we know that things are differently situated, we should realize that everything flows from Krishna. So, if you go back to this particular verse, the beauty of this particular verse is Sukham dukham bhavo abhavo bhayam cha abhayam eva yasho ayashaha. All these words are duality. It represents the duality of the world. The way it is written, Sukham dukham. Wherever there is happiness, unhappiness has to be there. It's going to be there. We didn't know when the bandit family came to visit the temple, maybe on 10th of February. We were all happy, wearing Prabhupada's garland, which is too big for a little boy to wear. But he looked like little Krishna. And they were taking his picture with the grandmother, and we were all happy. But we didn't know the next morning is going to be unhappy. So sukh, dukh, the happiness and distress, they go together. This is the reality. The light and the shadow. If there is a light, it's going to cast a shadow, of course. If there is a day, there is going to be night, of course. Bhava, abhava. These are also, again, a representation of dualities. Bhayam cha abhaya. Fear and not fear. Yasha, asha means what is that ayasha and yasha? Kirti, famous and not famous. So this represents the world of reality. But kshama, satya, dama, shama, ahimsa, samata, tusti, tapa, danam. Those words, they don't give the opposite word, satya, asatya, or dhamma, adhamma, or shama, ashama. It doesn't go that way. Why? Because satya is a primary quality. If you want to speak non-truth, you can choose it. You can make up one. But that's not actually proceeded by Lord Krishna. He just gave you the satya, the truth. And kshama. Kshama is a must. You must forgive. But if you choose not to forgive, it is up to you. So these are the qualities that you derive from your own desires. That is why when you read this particular verse, you do not find opposite words because they are not given from Krishna. So let's go into detail a little bit. The function of mind which determines what ought to be done and what ought not to be done, what is worthy of acceptance and what is worth rejecting, what is good and what is evil, is called buddhi, the intelligence. Right? You should know what is good, what's bad. That's the real intelligence. The term gnana covers every form of knowledge, from ordinary worldly knowledge to the knowledge of the reality of God. But like Prabhupada said, you have to distinguish between two and accept one. Material is not going to help you until you come to spiritual and accept it. Regarding worldly enjoyments which appear everlasting and delightful to all sensually minded man, as transient, momentary and sorrowful, and refusing to be infatuated by them, is called asammoha, or an unclouded understanding. Harboring evil intentions, doing an ill turn, aspiring one's possessions, offering insult, causing hurt, using harsh or abusive language, indulging in calumny and malicious gossip, practicing incendiary administration poison, committing murder, and causing direct or indirect harm. All these are offenses which easily provoke anger and retaliation. Total absence of the spirit of retaliation, even under such provocation, and notwithstanding the power to retaliate, and seeking exemption for the offender from all punishment in this as well as in the next world, is what is known as a kshama, or forbearance. Kshama is actually difficult because you have to understand that opposite person is also just like you, is human being. And anybody can make mistake. If you can make mistake, other person also can make mistake. This is the first thing you have to realize. This satyam or the veracity means representing in sweet and loving words what has been actually seen with the eyes, heard through the ears, and apprehended through the mind. Exactly as it is has been seen, heard, or apprehended. Dhamma consists in exercising restraint and senses running after sense objects, indulging them and checking their waywardness. Whereas sama means subduing the mind by exercising full control over the same. Sukha denotes joy of the kinds derived from contact with agreeable objects and the withdrawable, disagreeable ones. Even so, sorrow covers all forms of suffering caused by separating from agreeable objects and the contact with disagreeable ones. Bhava means coming into existence of the entire universe consisting of animated and inanimated beings at the time of creation and its disappearance at the time of universal destruction is indicated by the word abhava. Agitation or perturbation of the mind caused by impending harm or cause of death is called bhaya or a fear. And total absence of fear resulting from a sense of the omnipresence of God or from any other cause is known as abhaya or fearfulness. We have this picture of Lord Rasheela. Right in front of him you see a little baby. That was Prahlad Maharaj. He was thrown from the mountain, but he was fearless. They put a stone, hang a stone on his neck and threw him in the ocean, but he was fearless. They threw him in the fire, but he was fearless. They put him in the room with the poisonous snakes. He was fearless. Because the presence, the omnipresence of God was there with him. And that's what the devotees are advised or recommended to practice. Ahimsa or non-violence means non-infliction of suffering in any form, at any time, even in a small degree, or any being whatsoever in thought, word, or deed. Samatha or equanimity denotes constant equipoise of mind, free from partiality and prejudice in the midst of objects, actions and incidents, etc., which are likely to throw one off one's balance, such as joy and sorrow, gain and loss, victory and defeat, praise and blame, honor and ignominy, friend and foe, etc. To steer contentment is that uncomplaining attitude or mind which reconciles itself to every lot, taking it as an outcome of one's own good or evil, destiny, or as a decree of providence. Now, we mentioned a little bit about sufferings. Martyaloke jana sarve nana klesh samanvita. We all have to have gone through these sufferings. Suffering has been classified in Hindu Shastras under three heads. One is Adi Bhautik, or which is caused through the agency of man, beasts, birds, insects, moths, and other creatures. Adi Devik, or what is resulting from the natural calamities such as drought, excessive rainfall or earthquake, stroke of lightning and famine, etc. And Adhyatmik is also a suffering. So, that caused by distemper of body, senses and mind. When you point a finger towards yourself, your own body, your own mind, and your own senses give some kind of trouble to you, that is Adi Atmik. When you point a finger towards somebody else, that is a Adi Bhautik suffering. And when you point a finger upward, only God knows why so much of rain, why so much of snow, so much of cold, so much of heat. All these things which you cannot check or cannot stop. That's given by God only. And that is Adi Devik. So, reading some more verses will complete today's prayers. Today again reminds me of Ratri, Lord Siva and Lord Krishna. They are very close. Any prayer or any verse or mantra that you chant, it says, Vande Mukundam Priyam. It never says that we offer our obeisance to Lord Shiva. But it says, Vande Mukundam Priyam. We pray our obeisances to the person who is very dear to Lord Krishna. And Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. This is the relationship. There is unbroken relationship between them. And they both appreciate it. The first prayer that we chanted, it says, Rameshwar. In Sanskrit, Rameshwar means Ram, who is the worshipable Lord. And the same meaning in Sanskrit, Rameshwar means the Lord who is being worshipped by Lord Rama. So the both are claiming that I am in your meditation. Krishna says, you are in my meditation. And Lord Rama says, you are in my meditation. So this is such a close, transcendent relationship, we will never know. So the verse goes like this. Vande Deva Umapatim Suraguru Vande Jagat Karanam Vande Pannagabhushanam Mrugadaram Mande Mukundam Priyam. Mukunda is none other than Lord Shri Krishna. And it says, Vande Mukundam Priyam. One who is being loved by Krishna and one who is loved by Lord Shiva. It is the same personality. So by chanting Mukundam Priyam, we are thinking of Krishna as well as Lord Shiva. Today is a very, very auspicious day. Today is Ratri. And for the benefit of the Parvati Kripa Mataji, we are praying these beautiful verses. Maharshaya Saptapurve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhava Manasa Jata Yesham Loka Ima Praja Etam Vivitim Yogam Cha Mamayo Vetti Tattvata Sovikampena Yogena Yujyate Natra Samshayam Aham Sarvasva Prabhava Matta Sarvam Pravartate Iti Matva Bhajante Ma Buddha Bhava Samanvita Machita Mat Prana Bodhayanta Parasparam Kathayantaschitam Nityam Tushyanti Cha Ramanti Cha Esham Satata Yuktanam Bhajatam Pritipurvakam Dadami Buddhi Yogam Tam Yena Mamupayanti Te. Lord Krishna is concluding. Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Shashvatam Divyam Adidevam Majam Vibhum. So, Athva Bahunaitena Krim Gnatena Tavarjuna Vishyama Idam Krishnam Eke Shanastito Jagat. So, it's very beautiful. So why we go in so much of details, Lord Sri Krishna says, there is no need. Why? The reason is that all this material world that you see around you is actually created by me. So, the last verse here, it says, from Lord Krishna's potent energy, even the powerful sun gets his power, and by Krishna's partial expansion, the whole world is maintained. Therefore, Lord Krishna is worshipable. It says, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? With a single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So today we read this chapter 10 in memory of Mother Parvati Krupa. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you, Mother.